We are having the single phase supply and you are having the three phase supply. So if you are drawing the time and if you are measuring the voltage, so you will say this is one cycle, or will say that is 360 degrees. So within the 360 degrees, you will get three peaks in case of the three phase supply. So each phase will be offset by 100 degrees. That is 360 divided by 3, that is 100 degrees. So here the first one you are getting at 90 degrees. In case of the three phase supply, again you are going to get the peak at 90 plus 120, that is 210 degrees. Again at 100 degrees offset, that is 330 degrees, you are going to get the three peaks. So what is the advantage of the three phase power supply? So for small power applications, for smaller size motors or for low power applications, a single phase motor is more than sufficient. But if you want to have high power requirement or high torque requirement, then we have to go for the three phase motors. So single phase induction motor. So in a single phase induction motor, like any other motor, you are having a stator and you are having the rotor. The rotor here need not be very complicated coils. It can be simple conductor bars which are short circuited at the ends so that they are all connected together. Then you are having the main windings, and then you are supplying the alternating current to the main windings that is present in the stator. Now what happens when the alternating current is passing through the main windings? We know that alternating current can have the induction and it is going to induce the opposite kind of field in case of the rotor. So rotor is having the conductors. In that conductors, this whatever the current flowing in the main coil, that is trying to induce the current here. So you are again having a magnetic field. These two magnetic fields will be in the opposite direction. So whatever the original thing is there, whatever is being induced, usually that will be in the opposite direction.
There will be some kind of interaction between the two fields, and because of which there will be some attractive forces.
But we should know that whatever the alternating current is there, it is increasing in intensity, then again increasing in the polarity is reversed increasing, then polarity is reduced. So what is the effect of this alternating current in the windings here? So initially you are having a very low strength flux is here, then the strength is continuously increasing, so the magnetic bond is very increased, then it is reducing, then again the polarity is changing. Now how does the rotor is going to rotate? Now this is a simple figure. The coils will be there all around it, all around the rotor over here. So now different coils are having different current passing through them. Then from this coil, the current is going to flow into the next coil because the coils are all connected all around the rotor. So now naturally, normally what happens is different coils are trying to create the field over here and trying to attract. In 1 second, the flux is changing 60 times. So the moment the high voltage is coming over here, it is inducing the opposite one over here and it is trying to create its own flux over here. But the moment its own flux is created here, the current here is actually changed the direction. So because of the reverse polarity, as we have seen in the previous slide, so it is going to have the reverse one. So neither it can attract nor it can continuously repulse because the current is changing voltage is changing continuously. So whatever field is generated here, it is not able to attract the stator nor it is able to repulse. We want either attraction to take place or we want the repulsion to take place so that the rotor can start to rotate. So what happens is initially if you are supplying AC phase, the motor will simply make a humming noise. Some sound is going to come. Now how do you create the rotation? So we can create the rotation when only if you have given some initial rotation to the, so if you start the rotation, then continuously it is able to rotate. So that is how the rotor can rotate. But every time it is not possible to manually do it. So what we are having is, we are having a auxiliary winding. So auxiliary winding will be in action in the initial few rotations. After that, the power will be switched off to the auxiliary winding. So auxiliary winding, you are connecting it to a capacitor. If you have seen your domestic water pumps or if you have seen your fan, at the fan you are having a cylindrical thing that is called as the capacitor. The same thing here, you are having a auxiliary winding. Now what happens when you are incorporating a capacitor? Here you are using a capacitor. What happens is there will be a phase shift. There will be a phase shift. Means this is a normal voltage current that is going into the main coil and there will be a shift. So instead of getting a peak over here you will be getting a peak somewhere over here. Maybe some amount of phase shift will be there. We are creating a polyphase power here supply over here. So this is the main voltage going into this. Because of the capacitor, there is going to be another phase which will be temporarily created. Then when you are having two phases here acting simultaneously, so when one is creating magnetic field over here, because of this one, some other field is also going to created, and the motor will have some kind of initial rotation because two different forces are trying to balance out. So you will be having a very small rotation over here. So because of this small rotation, the rotor will get the initial rotation. Now once the rotor will start to rotate, it will continuously follow the field that is being created in the main winding, and it will have continuous rotation. Now without this auxiliary winding, it is not possible to start the single phase motor. This is the important thing to remember. So without the auxiliary winding, so without these two phases created over here, it is not possible to create the continuous rotation of the single phase AC motor. This is the thing we have to remember. So next one, what is the advantage? It is very simple in construction. There are no bushes, so there is no question of having any sparks or something. It is very rugged, which means you can build the motor, you can continuously operate it without needing for any maintenance, unless it is overloaded. If you are overloading it, the main windings are going to draw more current and the coils may get burnt out. Otherwise, it is not, there is no danger to the winding, and the rotor is not having any electrical power. So that also is more or less maintenance free. And we don't want the current to continuously pass through the auxiliary winding, because unnecessarily it is drawing the power. So there will be a centrifugal switch will be there that will disengage the power to the auxiliary winding after you are going to get the initial rotation. So after you get the initial rotation, the power to auxiliary windings will be cut off, and only because of the power flowing in the main windings, the rotor will continuously rotate. So because of the two phases here which are present, the rotor will have multiple forces acting, so it will have an initial rotation and it will continue to rotate. So these two coils will be separately mounted in the motor, and the auxiliary winding power supply is connected by a centrifugal switch or by some other means. Once the rotation takes place at some speed, the power supply is cut off to the auxiliary winding. So you can see your domestic fan, sometimes when it is not starting, you try to rotate with your hand and then it is going to start. So which means the capacitor has failed and it is not able to create the field for the auxiliary windings. Next one is three-phase induction motor. So in the three-phase induction motor, what happens? So now you are having different coils are there. Each coil has got different peaks of current which is happening, and they will be always in the same direction. So you are having coil number 1, you will be having coil number 2, and you will be having coil number 3. So consider that there are 3 coils over here. So initially there is a maximum current in this one. So here too there will be the opposite type of current. Then after within the same cycle, if you are having 3 different peaks will be happening in 3 different coils, and the current as it is flowing continuously, the north pole is going to move in this direction, because maximum current is here now, then the maximum current will come here, there is going to be the maximum current in the next coil. So in that way the coils are designed. So the rotor is always pulled in this particular direction because the current is increasing in a particular direction because of the 3-phase supply. Whatever the field was created, that will continues to be attracted in the same direction, and the rotor will start to rotate. So once the rotor rotates, it will continuously follow the field that is generated, and you will be having the continuous rotation. That is the reason why we say 3-phase induction motors are self-starting. You don't require any separate coils for getting the initial rotation. It will start on its own, but a single phase motor cannot start on its own because there is no rotating magnetic field. So in this case we say the magnetic field is rotating in a definite direction. So you are having different coils here. So here there is maximum current, then in this coil you will be having the maximum current, then the next coil you will be having the maximum current, and in that way the coil maximum current is continuously rotating all around it. But in case of the single phase motor, you will be having the oscillating current over here, and we cannot say that it is a rotating field. So there will be an oscillating field over here. So whatever torque was generated by 1/2 of the cycle, in the other half it will be cancelled out. So there is no continuous rotation of the field over here. So where is three-phase motor used? Three-phase motor is mainly used where you want the high power, because you are supplying current through three separate lines. So it can pull more current and it can generate lot of torque. How do you change the speed? Usually AC motors are designed for single speed. But if you are reducing the current that is being supplied to the AC motor, then it is able to generate less amount of torque. Then against the load, when it is functioning, it is able to achieve less amount of speed. That is what is happening in your fan motor. You are controlling the voltage and current that is applied to the coils. Because of this reduced power supply, voltage and current, the power output at the motor coils is less, because of which it is able to have less amount of torque. When it is having less amount of torque, as the fan is rotating, it is not able to push the air. It is not able to push the air, so it is rotating at a slower speed. But if you are increasing the current, if you are applying more voltage here, then it is having more torque, but it is acting on less amount of load, so it is able to achieve higher speed. If you are changing the frequency of supply, you are going to get the any speed that is required in the AC induction motor. The next one is a synchronous motor. The synchronous motors can be in single phase and it can be in three phase. So in a synchronous motor, what you are having is, instead of having the conductors, you are having a permanent magnet, or you can have a electromagnet. Both can be possible. Now again, in this case, what happens is, since the magnet is there and it is always having the same north pole and the south pole, because of the frequency, because of the continuous change in the power supply, this magnet is not able to follow. This magnet is not able to follow the field that is being created in the stator. So you require some mechanism to initially start the rotation. Once you have given the initial rotation, then it will continuously rotate and you are having the rotation or the torque output of this particular motor. Now question is, why it is called as a synchronous motor? Usually the speed of the motor, electric motor, that is AC motor, will be in multiples of the supply frequency. If you are supplying at 50 hertz and you are having so many number of poles and other things, then it is going to have a fixed speed, say 1000 RPM or 1440 RPM. That is fixed. Now, usually a conventional induction motor will be rotating at slightly lesser speed because of something called as a slip. It is not able to exactly follow the field, stator field. There will be some amount of slip, so the speed will be slightly lower than the theoretical speed. But here, since you are having a strong magnet or electromagnet you are using, it will be able to follow the stator field that is being continuously created, so it will achieve the exact speed. Now, since it is not able to rotate, we have to connect it to a prime mover, maybe some other electric motor, or you have to connect it to a diesel engine or something, and you have to start the rotation. Now, once it starts the rotation and reaches the full speed, then you can disengage the electric motor or the prime mover. The motor will continuously rotate at the same fixed speed, even though you increase the load or you decrease the load, without any load changes. Even if you are doing, it will maintain the synchronous speed. That is one fixed speed it is able to operate. So wherever you want a single speed operation, then you can go for the synchronous speed, the synchronous motor. So similarly, you are having the single phase into synchronous motor, and this figure explains the three-phase synchronous motors. So this is about the different AC motors. There are basically two types. Induction motor is also called as asynchronous motor. It is also called as asynchronous motor because its speed of rotation is lower than the synchronous speed. So synchronous motors means its speed is equal to the synchronous speed. That is equal to a formula is there, where you are using the frequency, you are using the number of coils present are there, and you are going to get a particular value. That value is called as the synchronous speed. So synchronous motors can operate at that exact speed. So that is why they are called as the synchronous motors.